This is the Advertising Blueprint with Ryan Pankow.
Hi there, welcome back. This is Ryan Pankow with the Advertising Blueprint podcast. This is a podcast meant for small business owners who are trying to grow their business with advertising strategies. So, today we are going to go over making impactful creative. So we're going to talk about how to make your message in your advertisement work the absolute best that it can. It's the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to spend a bunch of money on something that doesn't work, that doesn't give you an ROI, right? So first thing we have every customer do is we have them define what is your business goals. Now, most businesses typically run on it is an 80-20 ratio, where 80% of your business is coming through one revenue stream. That's the part of the business that you should focus the most on, but that's where your bread and butter is. That's where you need to grow. Now, there may be different aspects you want to grow of that business, but that's what you need to focus in on. Don't focus in on the little tiny part. Focus in on the big pie. So, you want to figure out what those goals are. Maybe those goals are having more service calls. Maybe those goals are selling more hamburgers, but they are on different nights of the week. Maybe it's bringing business on these days and not those days, but we're still targeting your main aspect of your business. So figure out what your goals are, and that should be a big part of your message. Now, something else we ask everyone to do is find your customers' pain points. So when we find someone's pain points, it could be about your product or your industry. But if we can pinpoint those and say, that's something that someone doesn't like about this industry, maybe you can figure out a way to solve that pain point. So maybe an example is people don't like to sit at their house and wait 4 hours for a service call. So maybe what your business does is you don't have a 4-hour window for service calls. Maybe your service call is only 30 minutes and you're going to call them right before you're 30 minutes away. Now that person doesn't have to take half a day off from work. They can maybe take a lunch break and go to that service call. So if you can figure out someone's pain points, maybe you can figure out how to solve those pain points. So, and then the last thing that we have people do is we want you to figure out what makes your business different. What is the differentiator for your business, and what is it that separates it? Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, well, I don't do anything crazy different than anyone else. Maybe what makes you different is the price point. Maybe this guy over there does it for that price, but you're a little bit less, and maybe you do something a little bit different. Well, what is that? So if it is just less, that's a pretty good thing. That's what a lot of people will drive on. Now, on the flip side, maybe you're the most expensive. Well, maybe what makes your business different, maybe why you are the most expensive, maybe you're using a software that other people don't use. That could be something that makes you different. So maybe it's to the people that want detail. So you just have to find that one thing that you do better than anybody else. If you can figure that out, that will really help you in your message. So now I want to go over some of the creative triggers. So when you are making an ad, you typically want to do one of these things, okay? So, and then I'm going to go through them one by one and kind of talk about them real short. So first one, fear. I'm sure a lot of people have, seen the ads. Are you afraid of hair loss? Are you afraid of this? Are you afraid of that? Fear is a huge motivator. I mean, that's what the news does. Think about it. They're constantly pushing fear. So that's a creative trigger. So in your ad, you could be pushing, are you afraid of, or something that people might not want. Next one is profit or gain. If you can tell people, hey, look, this is how you're going to make money, or this is how you're going to get better, people like to listen to that. Next one, pleasure. Hey, you want to go on a vacation? Do you want to do something that you enjoy? something, maybe that's something that your business is trying to push, is we make someone feel good about themselves. Next one is health. Everyone wants to be healthier. Everyone wants to live longer. It's something that's never going away. So maybe that's a creative trigger for your product, for your service, is health. Next one is manly. People typically are very concerned with how they look. So a lot of products, a lot of services are centered around, hey, look, we're going to help you look like this. Look at our clothes. We're by making, look like that. Vanity's big. Next one is problems. So if you can tell someone their problems, hopefully you can tell them how to fix it. You can put that in your ad and talk about, do you have this problem? Is this what's happening? Well, this is what we do. So that's another way that you can center your message around. And then the last one is just acceptance. People are drawn to, everyone's doing it. It's the biggest thing. They don't want to feel left out. So that's another creative trigger where if you have something like that in your ad, it will actually draw people in. So next thing I want to go over are some visual triggers. These are things that they've kind of proven will draw your eye, where if people are maybe doing the dishes while they're watching, TV, maybe they look up for a second because they see a split second of that visual, whatever it is on that screen, and they'll look at it. So number one is a person's space. They've actually proven that for whatever reason, people are drawn to someone's space. And when they're drawn to someone's space, they're just more likely to look at it. Next one would be a baby. Again, I think it kind of is still along the lines of someone's space, but babies just bring it to that next level. Them crawling, anything like that always does really, really well. Next is any sort of animal. I mean, especially animals that people love, dogs, cats, things like that. People are just drawn to it. So they're actually more likely to look at pup. Next one is skin. I mean, anyone in a bathing suit or anything like that, for whatever reason, I mean, I guess we could probably think of a few reasons, right? It just draws people's eyes. The next two, I'm just going to lump in one. It's either some sort of explosion or chaos. When something crazy is happening, when there's just something rapid, people are more likely to see what's going on. It's kind of that fight or flight feeling, what's happening right now. So those are visual things you can put into your ads that will actually give them more impact. Next are some word triggers. So these are words that basically you can use that, again, are just more likely to draw the ear. So these are things not only on like radio, but even for like your TV ad, people are just more likely to look up anything you guys do. So here I'm trying to ramble some off. I don't need to go over these. You're going to understand why putting these words in your ads will help. There's free, there's new, now, discount, increase, easy, win, lose, money, afraid, sale, secret, solution, proven, price, best, limited. I mean, so even in some of the earlier, for the triggers that we talked about, you want to use some of these words. So for a creative trigger, if you said, hey, I want to use fear as my creative trigger, that's what's going to bring people as fear. Well, maybe your fear is fear of loss, because you have looking at a word trigger, you have a limited amount. That's fear of loss. So hurry now, we've got a limited amount. That you're using a word trigger and a creative trigger all at the same time to really bring people in. So I'm going to say those word triggers again, just so you hear them. Free, new, now, discount, increase, easy, win, lose, money, afraid, sale, secret, solution, proven, price, best, and limited. So anything like those words doesn't have to be his exact words, but now something else too that we tell people, creative is one of the hardest things to make, because creative, it's kind of like, what's your favorite ice cream? It's, if you get 10 people in a room, everyone's going to disagree. I like this ice cream. I like this ice cream. I like this ice cream. No one's wrong. Everyone's valid for thinking that. But the same thing goes for a radio ad, TV ad, a billboard. If you put 10 people in a room, there will be people who will say, oh, I love this. And there will be other people who will say, I hate this. And it'll never fail. It's just one of those big things that you have to deal with. So when it comes to creative, and know that there's not a right or wrong answer. And something that I actually have people do that actually help me figure out what they're looking for is, I'll even ask them, hey, can you go on to YouTube and find me 2 or 3 other examples of other ads you like? Show me things you like about this ad. Show me things you don't like about this ad. Because then it gives me a jumping off point. It gives me a point to say, all right, well, this is kind of what you're thinking about. These are the aspects that you like about it. These are the things you don't like about it. But at least it gives you a jumping off point. I always feel like it's better to find some sort of example of something you like than just to completely think of something out of thin air. So now I'm going to go over some of the different different mediums for advertising, and go over just some tips on things to do for each one to make your message more impactful. So first one, billboards. Make them short and sweet. Give them just like bullet points. You're thinking logo and maybe 3 or 4 words, maybe a price point. But you definitely want to make it short and sweet. Remember, typically you're going 50, 60, 70 miles an hour while you're seeing it on an interstate or a highway or something like that. So you don't have a lot of time, just a few words. So for anything print, you always want to make sure that, first off, you make an offer. You want to make sure that you're always making some sort of offer. In fact, it even be, a free offer of, maybe it's a free consultation or a free bid, or it doesn't even have to be anything, a huge free offer. It just has to be, give me a reason to call. And then next is, make sure you track print. It's so easy to track print. You can put a tracking number on it and you can tell exactly how well it works. For radio, one thing that we always tell people, it's much harder to write down a phone number. Usually when you're listening to the radio, you're typically doing something. So you're driving and your hands are on the wheel. Maybe you're painting. Maybe you're doing the dishes. Maybe you're in the shower. Maybe you're mowing the lawn. Maybe you're jogging outside. But typically when you're listening to the radio, you're doing something. So when people rattle off, call me at 305-917-3412, how am I going to write that down? There's no way. It is way, way easier just to say a website. People are much more likely to remember you if you just say your website than it is to rattle off a phone number. So for radio use, we highly recommend, don't ever leave a phone number, always just leave a website. Something else too that I want to talk about is, for radio, one thing we've seen work well, it's buying that morning drive. We talked about that in one of our other episodes, but buy that morning drive, because cell phones are killing the radio. And also DJ endorsements for your morning drive. So morning drive typically it's like a DJ, like a radio host. Most of the time, those radio hosts will give some sort of endorsement for just a little extra money. And they do so well because when people are listening to that, they don't know if they're listening to the show itself or is it your ad. So we've done really, really well with the DJ host endorsements. We would recommend those. Next is for our TV ads, and even for our radio ads, they're typically 30 seconds long. That's a normal TV radio ad. we like to follow the exact same formula for all of our ads. We like to first, it is an attention grabber. We like to say some sort of a statement that grabs your attention. It could even be attention. Do you have, or something like that. That does well, but give a statement. Maybe it's that fear of loss. Maybe that statement is how you're going to make someone money, or how that service is going to help them, or what. But give that just attention grabbing statement. Next, give your business name right away. So you typically want to say your business name 2 to 3 times in an ad, because that's the biggest thing you want to drive home, is who are you? So first one is the attention grabber. Next is the business name. After that, give 2 or 3 things that make your business different. We talked about that earlier in this podcast, is figure out some things that make your business different. Is that price? Is that your staff? Is it your procedures? Is it software that you use? What is it that makes you better? What makes you different? Why should someone come and see you? Next, we want to give an offer. So when you tell someone, this is what makes us better, and for right now, limited time, you can get this. You can come in, we'll come see you, get this free vid. Whatever that is, give an offer. So you're telling someone right away. So then the last thing is your business name. So if you think about how it lines up, you're grabbing someone's attention right away. Then you're telling them who I am. You're telling them these are the things that make me different. Then you're saying, this is what makes me different, this is what makes me better, and here's a reason to use my services right now. That's the offer. And then you end it all with, this is my business name again. So that's typically the best way we like to line up the ads. That's just really, really straightforward. At the end of the podcast, I'll tell you a story about me flopping miserably. Now, for the online ads, for any sort of display ad, treat them like a billboard. So the best thing for any sort of, is a display ad either on an app or on a website. Maybe you'll get, it's like that impulse buy. So show a price point. Have no more than 5 or 8 words in there. I mean, if you really want to, you have 2 or 3 seconds, people are driving by just like a billboard. So for any online display ads, treat them like a billboard. Less is more. Also for your online ads, for your pre-roll and like your mid-roll ads, if you know this ad is going to be used on the internet, please say your name right away, immediately. So if you have to change up your ad a little bit, but right away say your name. So if someone does hit that skip button, if they hit skip and they see nothing else, you don't pay for that person, but at least they heard your business name. So we highly recommend that as well too. Now, want to tell you the story about the time I flopped miserably when it came to making ads. So, a lot of people will see those Super Bowl ads and they'll see, if it's like a Budweiser commercial, or maybe they're selling, it's like a, maybe like a potato chip or something, but they can make the ad fun. So when they make the ad fun, those are the best ads. The hardest part is pulling off something fun. So whenever it's a Budweiser or, it's a Dorito chip or something, and like if they get that same 30-second ad, but they just say their name at the very end for those last 3 or 4 seconds, it works for them because they've spent so many hundreds of millions, if not billions, over the last few decades establishing who they are. So you don't have to say their name 3 or 4 times because you already know who they are over the last few decades, right? So, when I gave you that list of things you should do for your own ads, that is the straightforward, safe route. I would rather have my clients go safe with things that I know that work. I'd rather hit doubles all day long where I know this is going to work than I would roll the dice on something that is funny that may not land. So very early in my advertising career, I had one of my clients who told me, I really want to be funny in an ad. I really want to be funny. I think it'd be awesome. Maybe we'll go viral. Who knows that it'd be awesome. So we went through all these different things, just as I did with you here. And we talked about what makes what makes them different. Why would they come see them? What's going to be their offer? But what they wanted to do is they wanted to swear in this ad. They showed me some sort of example where someone was swearing the ad and it came across really funny. That ad went viral. It was awesome. Well, when we tried it in this guy's ad, he came across as awkward and weird. And when it happened and when we did it, it just did not land at all. We ran the ad for a couple weeks. We never ran it again because he just didn't get good feedback from it. And there's nothing worse than making an ad and then a couple weeks later saying, well, that money we spent on the ad, we probably shouldn't run it anymore. So that doesn't happen with those safe ads where we know this is going to be money in the bank. So for your local, smaller businesses, we recommend going our format because it's straightforward. You're grabbing that audience. You're telling them exactly what makes you better and why they should come see you. It's a much different thing to be funny. Now, all that being said, there's going to be a bunch of people who prove me wrong. They're going to make an absolute hilarious ad. And for that, seriously, good job. But it is very hard to be funny on camera. Very few people can do it. If you meet that person, maybe you'll strike gold. But I'd rather hit doubles all day long and make sure I go the safe route. So that's typically what we recommend. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. This is Ryan Pancope with the Advertising Blueprints. See you soon.